G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. It is the second Team List Tuesday for 2024. We're going to get stuck into it now. I'm going to give my live reaction to all of these teams that have been announced. Obviously, Vegas coming up, so I assume some of these teams will be missing a number of players. I'm going to give my live reaction to all of them and talk about the players that have been featured in those. Kat, welcome in again for your second TLT of season 2024. Not bad for your first run, but we are looking for improvement in week 2, right?
Well, I hope that I play the part this week and do everything that I can do to live up to your expectations.
Fingers crossed. We'll see how we go. Take us to game 1, Kat.
Fingers crossed. Okay, well, we're looking at Rabbitohs Roosters. Now, obviously with these two teams heading to Vegas, they're already there. We're looking at a lot of young guns in these two teams.
Yeah, an absolute stack. A couple of young guns, a couple of older heads for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. At fullback, we've got Braden Burns on the wings. Tehal, apologies, guys. Some of these guys obviously haven't heard of before, so if I get pronunciation wrong, I do apologise. Adam Christensen and Leonard Skelton in the centres. Jude Salander on the wing. Bailey Bentley Hape and Jarrett Sublow. Now, Jarrett Sublow at halfback. I actually thought in his last few touches of the Charity Shield the other day, he was pretty impressive. I believe he's come from the Canberra Raiders. Pretty big body, playing at 7 there. One to keep an eye on. Brock Gray, he will be the skipper of this side in the front row. And Yleen Gordon, how bloody good. Buddy Gordon debuted, Kat, in 2005. Unbelievable that he is still running around. It's actually incredible. They won the grand final last year and he was in the side, or featured in the grand final. They won the grand final, actually. New South Wales Cup. So Buddy Gordon, a stalwart of our game. Ryan Gray at hooker. We've got Aluni Chunfun on one edge, Halilio on the other edge, and Matt French in jersey 13, who I believe is one to watch. Matty French, I've heard good things. CJ Mundine coming off the pine with Chase Chapman and Tyson Hodge. Anyone else in this extended bench I recognise? Lewis Grossamy, who is jersey 20, another one with a heap of talent to keep an eye on. The Chooks obviously going to Vegas as well. They will line up with Callum Gromek at hooker, Alexander Young on the wing, Alexander Young of Dom Young's older brother fame. One to keep an eye on, big bit of gear. Keep an eye on him. He's been training really well. Kyron Fekitoa in the centres with Ethan Clark-Wood. Keep an eye on Clark-Wood. I've heard good things about him with Williams on the other wing. In the halves, we have got Kobe Thomas and Tapari, who I haven't seen either of those two, so keen to have a look. Guy to watch to this Roosters side is Xavier Va'a, the front row forward for the Sydney Roosters. Big future. As with Tyler Moriarty, the hooker, a kid that I really like. He's in the Roosters top 30, one to keep an eye on. And what about this, running around in this game, crazy. Dylan Napa, two-time premiership winner with the Sydney Roosters, staying back in Sydney. Corey Ross and Nassau in the back row. And number 13, here's my player to watch for this game, Celesi Focchetti. I've watched him play a lot of SG ball, very talented young kid. Hits like an absolute train, Cat. I guarantee you this kid comes up with a big shot this week that we'll be talking about next week. Keep an eye on him. 14, Benaya. He's a young hooker that I really like as well. Come through the Sydney Roosters system. Very handy. Zach Sadler in jersey 16. Another good player. Just having a look at the extended bench. Anyone that stands out to me there. Alan Holton, I've heard good things about too. Jersey 20. So, Kat, that's our Bunnies and Roosters. And I'll tell you what, Kat, I've heard a rumour that in Las Vegas, the Rabbitohs and the Roosters might be having a little scrimmage session behind closed doors, which if I can weasel my way into that, I'll be there in a heartbeat because you got the biggest rivalry in rugby league going head-to-head on somewhere on a field in Las Vegas. Very interesting.
Wow, that is one that I would want to see for sure as well. All right, well, that takes us to our next game, which is Sharks versus Bulldogs.
Now, both of these, Sharks, Bulldog, 8 p.m, Roosters, Bunnies at 6 p.m. Both of these coming to you from Belmore Sports Ground. So you can get one hell of an afternoon of footy there. Now, these two sides are pretty much full strength. So let's go through these teams and have a look. For the Sharkies, Will Kennedy at fullbacks. On the wings, Katoa and Mulatalo. In the centres, Jesse Ramian and Sifa Talakai. Braden Trindle and Nico Hines partnering up again. We saw them last Friday night for the Indigenous All-Stars. Oregon Korfusi coming off a great trial last week. Starts in the front row with Royce the Choice Hunt, my boy. Blake Brayley in jersey 9. On the edges, Britt Nickera and Teague Wilton with Cam McInnes, the skipper, lining up in jersey 13. The bench for the Sharkies, Jack Williams, Jesse Colquhoun, Toby Rudolph and Tommy Hazelton. So you can sort of assume that is what the Sharkies will look like in round 1. Guys to keep an eye on coming off the bench, my boy Cal Iro, jersey 20, Billy Burns, Burns, another one to watch. Had an opportunity last week, didn't really take it with both hands, so keen to watch him. Dan Atkinson in 22, Puru in 24. Big one here, though, Cade Dykes in jersey 25. Let's have a look at the Canterbury Bulldogs at fullback. Blake Taaffe, once again, on the wings. Blake Wilson and Josh Adokar. Stephen Crichton named in the centres. The rumours were true. Great to see. Bronson Xerri, the other guy there, starting in the centres. Fantastic to see Bronson. Kat, dare I say, he might have earned a starting spot off the back of last week's. What do you think of his performance?
Oh, I thought he played so well. I mean, you can only imagine the nerves re-entering the game after so long, and there's so much hype around his return. I think he held himself so well.
Yeah, I think he did really well. And you do the crime, by all means, you do the time, but he's done it. He's back, and I'm glad to have Bronson back in our game. Matty Burton at 5'8", Drew Hutchinson at 7. Fuck yes, how good, my boy. Maxi King in the front row with Farmasili, who was very good in a short stint for the Bulldogs the other night. Reid Marnie in jersey 9. Then we've got Viliami Kikau on one edge, Jacob Preston on the other. Jamin Salmon in jersey 13. I thought we would see my boy Curran. He's on the bench. That's a kick in the dick. Not ideal. Kurt Mann in jersey 14. Sam Hughes, Supercoach Watch in jersey 15. Josh Curran in 16. Curtis Moran in 17. I was hoping Josh Curran would be in jersey 13. Very interesting watch all of a sudden, Kat.
I know, and I was too, because he's mine to watch too. I'm such a fan of Curran. But look, the jersey was earned by Salmon as well.
He played very well, so we'll keep an eye on that situation. Let's have a look at their extended bench guys to watch. Obviously, Katoga. I believe you know him, Kat?
Yeah. I'm mates with him. He's really nice. I think he's very excited about this season. There's a lot of potential for him to really flourish. So I'm excited for him.
I'm glad he's really nice too.
Yeah,
it's good to
really
know
nice.
for team lists. I love that.
That's embarrassing that I said that.
Other guys, obviously Toby Sexton in jersey 21, Jarrell Skelton 22, and Joash Papali. And what about my boy Bailey Howard? He was incredible last week. Hayward, sorry. Very keen to see him go round again. Kat, take us to the Saturday games. What do we got?
All right. Saturday, the first game we have is Storm versus Knights. This one is at 1:45 p.m. So let's start with Storm.
Yeah, this is 1:45 p.m. A bit of a weird time, but it's actually being played, I believe, in Fiji. So shout out to the two teams going over there. Great to see. At fullback, Ryan Pappenhausen. On the wings, Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates. Shout out to the guy in the comments that blasted me last week for saying Xavier. Fair shout, taking it on board. Xavier Coates. Remus Smith and Nick Meaney in the centres. Jonah Pezzett at 5'8". Jerome Hughes at 7. No Cam Munster named for this one. Tui Kamikamica in the front row with Josh King. Harry Grant in jersey 9. Kane Bradley. We told you to watch him last week because we heard that he'd locked down an edge spot. And Eli Katoa on the other side with Trent Leroux in jersey 13. Their bench, the White Rhino, Christian Welsh. Joe Chan, great to see, love that. Tristan Powell and Tyrant Wishart. Guys on the extended bench, jersey 20, Sean Bloor, a big watch for us. Lazarus as well, and Jack Howarth in jersey 24. So a few guys to watch at the Melbourne Storm. For the Newcastle Knights, KP at fullback and the skipper, Nari Tawala. We tipped off the other day that he'd won that right wing spot. It looks to be the way. Greg Marshall on the left. In the centres, Dane Gagai and Bradman Best. Tyson Gamble responsibly at 5'8". Jackson Hastings at 7. Jacob Saifidi and Leo Thompson in the front row. Phoenix Crossland at 9. Tyson Rozelle and, god damn it, Dylan Lucas on the edge. We wanted Kai Pearce-Paul, but Dylan Lucas, there's no denying he played incredibly well last week. Very interesting for Supercoach. We'll be watching his minutes very closely. Adam Elliott in jersey 13. Their bench, Jack Cogger, Daniel Saifidi, Jack Hetherington and Kai Pearce-Paul. I would assume this is how both these teams run out in round 1. We will be watching very closely the minutes of Kai Pearce-Paul and Dylan Lucas. On their extended, my boy Thomas Kahn. I thought he was fantastic last week. Keep an eye on him. Riley Jones, David Armstrong, Will Price, a big watch. Did you get a chance to watch him over the weekend, Kat?
I did.
Brained it.
He absolutely brained it. He was so great. I'm actually surprised he hadn't. Hopefully he gets a run this week.
He'll get a run this week. He'll get a bait somewhere. Tommy Jenkins, Fletcher Sharp, and Fletcher Myers, some guys to keep an eye on there. What's the next game, Kat?
The next game is Warriors versus Dolphins. This one is at 3:45 p.m.
Now, I'm expecting here, hearing Charles Hawkstad's going to win round 1. A lot of people getting excited about Roger. I'm assuming, and yes, he has been named Torpiki. He is the second man up. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is third choice at fullback. So they are dead set about playing him at centre this year. Tane Topiki at fullback, DWZ on one wing, Marcelo Montoya on the other side, Rocco Berry right centre. I think he's going to need a good performance to keep Ali out of that side next week. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the left centre, hoping to see him roam this week, fingers crossed. Lukey Metcalf at 5'8", interesting. Sean Johnson at 7. AFB in the front row with Mitch Barnett, Wade Egan at 9. Jackson Ford on one edge, Kurt Capewell on the other side. Looks like, but look at those numbers, Kurt Capewell might be on the right, so keep an eye on that. Toy Harris in jersey 13. Their bench, Freddie Lussick, Marata Nairkore, Jaz Tafanga and Bunty Arfoa. Dylan Walker, 18th man. Wow, tough pill to swallow there. Tom Ale, you got Ali there, Tamare Martin, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Jacob Laban, jersey 25. Keep an eye on him as well. For the Finn, Hamiso returns at fullback. I cannot wait to see this team with Hamiso. Jermaine Osako on one wing. Jack Bostock on the other side. Tessie New wins that centre role with Herbie Farmworth. Isaiah Katoa at jersey 6. Sean O'Sullivan at 7. Jesse Bromwich, the skipper, in the front row with Tommy Flegler. JMK at 9. Looking forward to seeing him go around. Felice Kafusi on one edge. Ewan Aitken on the other side. And Tommy Gilbert in jersey 13. The bench for the Finn, Mark Nichols, Tafade, Jake Avrillo and Kurt Donahue. Not sure if that's how they'll line up round one realistically. I can't see them going with Tafade and Jake Avarillo. We'll see how it plays out. Josh Kerr, Ray Stone, Kenny Bromwich, Connolly Lemuelu, Cody Nikorima. I would assume this is not the Dolphins side for round one. I can't see Kenny Bromwich and Lemuelu missing this side. So if so, what about the depth? Jared Wallace there as well. I think you'll see a few changes to that Dolphin side. Wayne Bennett, no stranger to giving a huge middle finger to Team List Tuesday. Kat, next game, what do we got?
We are at Four Pines for Sea Eagles versus Broncos. Similar to this Roosters Rabbitohs game, we're seeing a lot of young guns taking the place of their regulars because they are in Vegas.
Fantastic. And that's at Yahtzee o'clock, 5:55 p.m. Do you like that one, Kat?
Oh, I love that.
Thank you. Very good.
I don't know what it means, but it's great.
Never played Yahtzee?
No.
People at home will get it. I know you will. Okay, let's have a look at the Manly Seagulls. At fullback, Bailey Hodgson, not Tom Trbojevic. Max Lehman on one wing. Watson Halita, I have not seen that name in ages. Great to see him pop back up. Cameron Brown and Clayton Fualalo. He's the guy that Ella pointed out to us a few weeks ago to keep an eye on. Jamie Humphries at 5'8", very interesting. He's in serious contention to be there 14 for round one. Keep an eye on him. And Brandon Wakeham in jersey 7. Toff Sipley captains the side in the front row with James on the other side. Gordon Chan Kum Tong gets the first crack at jersey 9. Very interesting.
Very happy for Ella to see that.
Oh, she'll be absolutely stoked because I had heard that Gordon had fallen behind Jamie Humphries, but if he's getting that 9 spot, maybe he hasn't. Great to see him given an opportunity. Brad Parker playing his first game in the back row. He's moved from the centres to the second row this year, which is super exciting. Benny Condon will be on the other edge with Dean Madison, younger brother of Ryan Madison, featuring in that side of jersey 13. Dean's a handy player too. Kobe Ruglos, Austin Diaz, Jacob Skies and James Yusele coming off the bench. Only 2 guys on their extended bench. Not sure who either of them are. Brisbane Broncos, Credence Toya, very talented fullback, jumping in there. Sione Hopawate on one wing with Jordan Pierre, my boy, on the other wing. Ethan Quai Ward and Deloise Hoyter in the centres. Shout out to Deloise Hoyter, captain of this side. Josh Rogers at 5'8", handy little ball player. And Kurt Falls came from the Penrith Panthers last year in jersey 7. Bailey Butler, one of our CBAs from the Q Cup last year in the front row with Benny Takira. Looking for a big performance from him. And finally, we get to see Blake Moses start a game. Keen to watch him and see how he goes. Jaden Hunt on one edge, Ethan O'Neill on the other side, and Rory Ferguson in jersey 13. The bench, Joseph Tomain, Josh Stuckey, Cooper Page Wilson, and Josh Paxton. Corey Pakes on the extended bench there. That's a tough little gig. Last game. What have we got, Kat?
Dragons versus West Tigers. This one is out in Mudgee. And it's at 8:05 p.m. This is an exciting fixture, these two teams.
Sure is. This will be a good game. I'm looking forward to this one. Was there a bit of sarcasm in that?
None whatsoever.
Good, I hope not.
I mean it. I think both have a lot to prove this season, so it's an exciting matchup.
You don't want Shane Flanagan after you, trust me, all right?
I am not shaming anyone.
Good.
I think they are all really nice guys.
Good. And here's, speaking of Shane Flanagan being after you, Shane, has picked Tyrell Sloan at fullback. Please give Lomax a crack. For the love of God, just give him an opportunity. Sloan at fullback, Zach Lomax on the wing. Don't like him on the wing. Ravalawa on the other wing. Sully and Jack Bird in the centres. Kyle Flanagan at 5'8". Benny Hunt, the skipper, at 7. Francis Molo starts up front with Blake Laurie, one of the best-looking guys in rugby league. Jacob Little at 9. See what I did there, Kat? He kind of looks like me.
Yeah,
I
you
thought
have
you'd
a
like
habit
that.
of doing that.
Yes. Tommy Eisenhuth on one edge, Jaden Sewer on the other side. Thought Jaden Sewer looked fantastic last week. Jack DeBellin in jersey 13. The bench, oh, this is delicious. Jesse Marsky in jersey 14. Love how much of a goer this kid is. Viliami Fafita, great for us super coaches out there. We'll see how many minutes he plays. Ben Murdoch-Masilla and Raymond Faitala Mariner making his Dragons debut. Their extended bench, Molo, Mulheisen, Tui Pilotu, Fangai, Finau, Fangai, Couchman, and Dan Russell. For the West Tigers, Jareen Buller at fullback, Charlie Staines on one wing, Junior Tupou on the other side, Olam and Stafford Toa in the centres, Bud Sullivan in jersey 6, Aiden Caesar in the 7. I thought these two halves combined really well last week. Keen to see them get another run. Stefano with David Clemmer in the front row. Api Curacao in jersey 9. Isaiah Papali'i on one edge. Asu Kapara on the other side. Still no sign of Johnny Bateman. Alex Seafarth in jersey 13. Keep an eye on Seafarth. Could be a Supercoach option as well. Lockie Galvin in jersey 14. Great to see Galvin. Young guy, cat that's come through the Tiger system. He's a halfback. Benji's been talking him up galore in the preseason, so keen to see how he goes. Alex Twal, Fanua Bolde and Samuel Afinu. It would be great if Samuel Afinu could get a bait in this team too. Guys on the extended to keep an eye on. Alex Lobb, Navarine Willett gets another go. 6'7" or something outrageous. So a few guys to keep an eye on there. I believe jersey 24 is Solomon Ailamalo. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Once again, apologies, but he's the fellow that's come over from Rugby Union. I had a look at his highlights and I was actually kind of impressed. So keen to see how he goes. Kat, take us to Sunday afternoon footy. What do we got?
Raiders versus Cowboys. This one is in Queanbeyan.
Queanbeyan, Seaford Oval, where dreams come true. I know that Timmy Williams has dreams of Seaford Oval. How good. At fullback, wow, Albert Hopewade named at 1. No Chevy Stewart for this clash at fullback. Very interesting. Asuma on one wing, Xavier Savage on the other side, Matty Timoko and James Schiller in the centres. KO Weeks at 6, Ethan Strange at 7, no Jamal Fogarty once again. Keen to watch these guys go at it. Josh Papali'i and Emre Gula in the front row. Danny Levi in jersey 9. Hudson Young on one edge. Elliot Whitehead on the other side. And Morgan Smithies. We get to see him for the first time in jersey 13. Keen to see how he goes. On the bench, Tommy Starling, Nick Kotrick, Trey Mooney, and Jed Stewart. Ricky Stewart's son there. Yeah, wow. Chevy Stewart in jersey 18. I almost choked. I'm not sure if you saw that. That was good times. Chevy Stewart in jersey 18. Bit of a shock there. Probably didn't see that one coming. Adam Cook in jersey 19. Peter Holler in the 20. Zach Hosking, little Timmy Williams 2.0 in the 22. And Uta Mariota in jersey 25. Interesting. I'm not sure if that's how the Raiders will line up round 1. I probably doubt it. Let's have a look at the Cows. Scotty Drinkwater at fullback, Kyle Felt on one wing, Murray Tuolangi on the other side, Val Holmes and Zach Labart in the centres, Tommy Dearden at 5'8", Chad Townsend wears jersey 7, Jordan McLean in the front row with Jason Taumalolo in the 10, Ruben Cotter in the 13. You love to see it. Reece Robson in jersey 9. Helam Lukey on one edge. Jeremiah Nanai on the other side. And as I said, my boy, Ruben Cotter in jersey 13. The bench, Jake Granville, Griffin Neem, Cohen Hess, and Sam McIntyre. Shout out to Sam McIntyre. Great to see him get an opportunity. I think he's a good little clubman. The extended bench, Semi Valame still there. Absolutely starred for the Cowboys last week. Between him and Kyle Felt, it will be interesting. Jack Goz and Jakey Clifford. And also got Finay Fuayaki in jersey 21. Last game of the week, Kat, take us away.
We are in North Ipswich Reserve for Titans versus Eels at 5 p.m.
The North Ipswich in Ipswich also threw me when I read it at first too.
I feel like I'm stumbling on my words too much. I'm going to need another week.
Another week. We'll see how you go. Yeah, you might not be here next week. We don't know. We'll have to see, yeah? This is what trials are all about, those guys. We want to get it all sorted for the regular season, whether we're on these trials or in the podcast. Great to see. All right, Keanu Kinney named at fullback for the Gold Coast Titans. Obviously, Jaden Campbell out. I believe he will start the season there. Cam Pierre on one wing, Philip Sami on the other side. The centres, Brian Kelly and AJ Brimson. Our first look at AJ Brimson at centre. Kieran Foran in jersey 6, Tanner Boyd in the 7. Mo Fodawaker up front with Keenan Paliasia starting there. With him, Sam Verrills in jersey 9. Jacob Arlick in the front row with Beau Fermor. Jacob Arlett, keep an eye on him. I really like this kid. Heap of potential. I read into that as Beau Fermor will be on the right, Jacob Arlett in the left. We'll see how we go. And Tino in jersey 13. Chris Randall on the bench with Jermaine Jolliffe, Aaron Clark and Cleese Haas. Their extended bench, Harley Sexy Shields, Joe Stimson, Tommy Weaver, De Groot. A few guys to keep an eye on there. Interesting to see them go with both Chris Randall and Aaron Clark on the pine. For the Parramatta Eels, Gutho at fullback, Micah Sivo on one wing, Sean Russell on the other side, Will Pensini and Bailey Simonson in the centres, Dill Brown in jersey 6, Mitch Moses in the 7, RCG up front with Junior Bolo, Joey Lussick at jersey 9. Interesting. I thought it would be hands. Sean Lane and Bryce Cartwright on the edges. My boy, Jermaine Hopgood in jersey 13. The bench for the Eels, Brendan Hands, Wiramu Greg, Joe Offengay, Kelmy Tuolungi. We know that Brad Arthur wants to have 180-minute 9. Interesting to see them both named there. I think they'll get split minutes. Probably the player to come out of this best probably gets that 9 jersey. Matto on the extended bench, Morgan Harper, Hayes Dunster, Assie, Blaze Talangi. As we said, guys, I think is that all the games, Kat? Yes, it is.
That's all the games.
That's all of it. Obviously, the Penny Panthers travelling over for the World Club Challenge. As we said, guys, I think most of these teams will be a good reflection of what they'll look like in round 1. Still one trial to come. I'm sure there will be changes, and obviously there's extended benches. So none of this is in cement just yet, but a very good idea at how coaches are looking at it and the direction in which teams are going in. Let me know in the comments, guys, who are the big winners, who are the big losers, what was the big shock for you, and who maybe in the Supercoach world has flown up your radar and who's dropped down a ladder as well. Let me know in the comments. Cheers for tuning in. Once again, legends.